Hello all, I am Mr. Santosh Kumar, working as an assistant professor of English at President College Autonomous Bangalore. Today I am here to give a critical insight on Kalidasa's Ritusamhara. Kalidasa, renowned writer from Indian writing in English, who has made people to have a strong attention towards his writing style. Before entering into the particular text to Samhara, I am here to give a brief introduction about the writer, the legend Kalidasa. Kalidasa, from the beginning, it's a well-known fact for us is that the word Kalidasa means servant of goddesses Kali, and he's a matchless magician who has impressed people, who has grabbed attention towards literary world through his writing style, and people also equate Kalidasa's writing style with the writing style of the great romantic poet William Wordsworth. And William Wordsworth, for a person like William Wordsworth, he believes that nature is said to be its guardian, or nature is said to be its mother and other stuff. Same thing is with Kalidasa, who believed that nature is said to be the primordial element, or nature is said to be the primordial factor in all his writings. And the poem Ritusamhara, it has got two subtitles. The two subtitles are as follows: Medley of Seasons, or in other words, the Garland of Seasons. I repeat, Kalidasa's Ritusamhara has got two subtitles. One is Medley of Seasons, and another one is the Garland of Seasons. And I would here like to equate Kalidasa's poem Ritusamhara with an eco-critical study. The term eco-criticism, defined by Cheryl Golfetti, is the study of relationship between literature and physical environment. And it will be apt here to quote the words of Barry Commoner: "Everything is connected to everything else." And the poem Ritusamhara by Kalidasa, it showcases the importance of all the seasons. And most importantly, it talks about the impact of summer season, which has created a fragmented identity in the minds of the people. And it also showcases the fact that man should not think that he is the crown of all creations created by gods. And most importantly, eco-criticism is a proactive discourse which talks about the unknown facts. And also at the same time, it questions the power structures which operate at a great threat owing to political monopolization. In this poem, in this poem, Samhara, Kalidasa, he tries to he tries to connect the unifying forces. That is, he wants the human beings to understand the fact that how animals they were being unified, even though they are said to be an archetypal enemies, yet then these animals they will be unified when there was a struggle. Whereas the same thing is not applicable in the human world. We as a human beings, we always question the facts, and animals they undergo a state of mysticism. The word mystic has got a unifying element, or has got a unifying discourse with Kalidasa's Ritusamhara. And the mysticism or the mystic world is said to be a divine world for the poets like Kalidasa, who believe that nature has got an unifying force to convey a strong element towards man and for his welfare. And Kalidasa's Ritusamhara, most importantly, it talks about how the impact of sun has created a rapid discourse in the minds of the people. The first part of Ritusamhara, Canto 1, Summer, it talks about the enticement, the state of enticement of the lovers, and how they enjoyed the beauty of moon, and how the impact of sunrise has created a turmoil. And as we all know, moon it reflects the light of the sun. That's one of the essential trait of the moon. Same thing is with the sun. Sun, even though it reflects the light, even though it reflects the rays, the problem with sun's rays is that it has got a negative connotation in the literary sensibility. And it will be apt here to quote Percy Bysshe Shelley: "Poets are unacknowledged legislatures of the world." And Shelley, being a revolutionary poet, he has emphasized the fact that by talking about the worldly affairs, poets are poets are the original legislatures. What is he trying to infer? What is he trying to convey as the fact is that we as a poets, that is, we as a poet, and we as a human beings, we always should be judgmental in our ideas and approach. So this is what Shelley's idea. And Shelley's idea can be incorporated in Kalidasa's Ritusamhara. For a person like Kalidasa, he believed the fact that nature is said to be a good custodian for human beings. But at the same time, when things get ramified or when things get traversed owing to man's cunningness, what happens is that the sufferers are the human beings and also the other creations created by gods. In Ritusamhara, the the animals they suffer like anything else, even though they are and even though they have an conflictual ideology. At the same time, they call themselves as archetypal enemies, yet then they be united at times of difficulties. The animals in Ritu Samhara they are in need of water and also the need of livelihood. And also one of the beauteous thing about Ritu Samhara is that Kalidasa is of the view that he just wants every reader who reads this poem to understand the particular fact that nature nature cannot be separated or nature cannot be taken away from man's life. Nature is said to be one of the pivotal element in man's life. And here in this particular poem, which is Samhara, Kalidasa, he also talks about how the animals they talk about the impact of the five elements of nature, which is said to be air, water, fire, and so. And the impact of air has created a chaotic discourse even in the minds of animals. Animals, as we all know, they're gifted with the sensory perspective, and their sensory perspectives made them to feel that there is something a rotten state, and which would be equated with the famous William Shakespeare. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. So this is how things have been operated. And initially, I said that eco-critical study. Okay, eco-criticism, as we all know, it not only talks about the relationship or interrelationship with man and nature, but at the same time, it talks about man's cunningness towards Mother Nature. And the prime aim of Kalidasa Samhara is that man should get rid of his ego in order to achieve the eco-consciousness. The ecocentric is the need of the hour than the man's egocentric art. And the writings of William Wordsworth can be equated with Kalidasa, or in other words, the writings of Kalidasa can be equated with the writings of William Wordsworth. And some critics they call Kalidasa as Indian Wordsworth. So it thinks like that when it comes to American Romanticism and England Romanticism, in England Romanticism, the nature is at the center. And in the American Romanticism, it is the poet or the man at the center, and along with him, the nature evolves. Same thing as with Kalidasa Samhara, it is the nature, which is said to be the primordial element. It is at the center, and around it, everything evolves. And in Kalidasa Samhara, the most striking feature is that Kalidasa is of the view that man should personify. Instead of personifying, man should embody or man should assert the fact that he cannot go ahead, that is, he cannot think a life without nature. And by quoting Kalidasa Samhara, it will be apt to mention that through Kalidasa Samhara, that romanticism as a discourse is said to be an embodiment or rudiments of eco-criticism. What eco-critics in the contemporary times stated, it was long back done by the romantic poets. And same thing is with Kalidasa's Ritu Samhara. By talking about the elements of nature, by talking about the chaotic state because of man's cunningness when the summer hits the forest, how the people and others, how they will be displaced like anything else. The moment when they undergo a sense of displacement, dislocation, and disjunction, when they undergo all these kind of steps, what happens is that the animals they are living in a very pathetic state. And in the first part of the poem, it talks about how the lovers, both the men and women, how they will state of entanglement and how they felt bad after the arrival of the sunrise. Even though it was a scorching heat and the climate was not favorable to them, yet then the people they are a strong layer of hope that moon will give them a kind of positive hope. Same thing is in the second stanza. Same in the second stanza. The animals which are here, the animals in this particular poem, the animals, they are of the view that at last things will be fine, and they are striving for a universal brotherhood. And eco-criticism, more than seeing it as a theoretical discourse, it is a unifying discourse which talks for the welfare of the mankind. So, on the whole, it will be apt to say that Kalidasa's Ritusamhara by talking about the elements of nature or by talking about the impact of man's brutality towards nature, it also makes us to understand the fact that after the advent of culture studies, literature has become interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary. And in the contemporary times, we define literature as culture-specific production. And cultural studies is said to be a broad and comprehensive term which includes literature, anthropology, economics, politics, social sciences, and so on. So, on the whole, I would just like to conclude my lecture by saying that each and every writing style has got a unifying purpose. Same thing as the writer Kalidasa, even though even though after so many centuries back, yet then he makes us to revisit, to relearn, or to rewrite in order to understand the impact of nature, and man should not think that he's the crown of all creations created by God, and also most importantly, without nature, man cannot survive. Okay, and we also should understand the fact that each and every natural real resources created by God has got a unifying purposes, and we as a human beings should understand it. And the moment we understand it, that is said to be the success of Kalidasa and his hope to Samhara. Thank you.